Hey guys, how's it going? William here, aka Big Bastard. Pardon. So, I've uploaded a spate of videos. I filmed 3 of those tonight. Didn't realize I was going to film another one. I have another one planned, but I don't have the materials for it. It'll be kind of interesting, something I've never done before. But, one moment. Yeah, long story. But so I was going over the videos because I like to consolidate them into the playlists as soon as possible so that it's orderly for people. Because I go to channels and they don't, they start off a playlist and then they don't fucking finish it. And it's like, oh god, I gotta go through all these fucking videos. And I know I don't have a tremendous amount of content on my site, or on my channel, but I do hope to eventually build up. I'm obviously not deleting videos. Right now I got almost 40 posted, and I think this one's going to be the 39th. But I come across a video that I didn't even remember doing. And it was called, it had something to do with rage. I just watched it. I don't even remember the title. But you can look through and basically it's me talking about rage. And I had mentioned this was just after the UCLA shootings, and this was, I had also heard a report about a motorist who tried running over a motorcycle that had 2 passengers. And I mentioned a dream that I had. And I talked about a lot of issues that I have with anger. And I talked about a lot of context of the times, if you will. And it's funny because it just slapped me in the face because I said, we're aware of this at a distance, but we don't really incorporate it into our lives, if you will. You can watch the video for more context if you want. But what I want to talk about now is, have I really learned my lesson? And right now, contrasting myself with myself then, not only am I concerned about the fact that I don't seem to have learned that lesson, I'm concerned about the fact that in some ways I actually seem worse off today than I had been at that time. And I'll give you a little clarification on that. So I've been having a lot of problems with Chadron State University. It seems every time I turn around, they're doing something stupid to piss me off. Now, I had some of these issues at EWC, Eastern Wyoming College. But the extent to which it is occurring is not something I had to deal with at EWC. And I actually got to the point where I had gotten so livid that I actually pretty much unleashed verbally on a particular teacher. And in addition, you'll have to excuse, there's people taking out the dogs. And the one little dog's kind of psychotic. But in addition to that, I've had road rage issues. Nothing like, you get out of the car and you fucking shoot someone. But the one time I was behind a slow person, got pissed off, and used the turning lane to pass. Didn't think much of it, and I actually got behind another guy who braked off, and I was getting pissed. And it didn't help that the person behind me gunned up on me, okay, which pissed me off. Well, I would find out later what that was about. I pull in the subway like I had intended, and a cop pulls up in front of me. I'm like, oh, Christ. And he starts approaching me. And I'm like, can I help you, officer? And he mentioned the incident. He's like, did you do this? And I'm like, yeah, I must not have been paying attention to that. He's like, it was out by the Pizza Hut. He's like, which is predominantly turning lane. He's like, you know, you can't pass out there like that. I'm like, no, I wasn't really paying attention, you know, and just kind of played it off. But it was a wake up call. But how many wake up calls do you need before you start changing it? Now, I plan on going and seeing a counselor for anger management. I have a really good psychologist I know in Scottsbluff. He had dealt with my voc rehab assessment, because when you do vocational rehabilitation here in Wyoming, or at least in Torrington, you have to have a psychological assessment. And when I was looking at the lap band, he was also the one I had requested, because I was so impressed with him, and to do the lap band psychological profile, which you have to do. And I was actually, I don't want to say amazed, but I was kind of shocked, because when we were doing that voc rehab assessment, he mentioned the lap band, and that he was a psychologist who consulted on that. And so he was one. There was a list of psychologists I was given. He was the first one I went to, and it kind of came full circle in that. So I'm gonna go see him and talk about some of, you know, the issues I've been having with anger management. But watching that video, it just totally, not only did it bring back the point home again, which is good, but it kind of concerned me that I could be so thoughtful about it at that time, and now it's just like it hardly even registers. You know, I mean, my actions in this have become so automatic that it's not even like I think about it. And clearly I was thinking about it when I did that one video. And so that's a concern for me, obviously. And there's been a lot of, how do I put this? There's been a lot of, not necessarily wake-up calls, but signs that, you know, this is something I need to address. And ironically, you know, I mentioned that dream that I had, and that was apparently what keyed the video, if I recall correctly. You know, thinking back on it, I think that was, in addition to the elements that happened, was what brought the video about. Funny thing is, an irony of ironies, I had a similar type dream last night, and I didn't even pay it any heed. You know, as far as putting a video out or doing any retrospective content. When I woke up from the dream, I was scared. It was more like a nightmare, and I don't know if you guys have had this, but there's certain type of dreams you have that the content of the dream itself doesn't seem terrifying, but you get that terrified feeling with it. Well, that was one of those dreams. But the dream was very disturbing anyway, because me and my sister had gotten in a heated argument in this dream. Okay, and I threw my phone at her, and she tried stepping on it. She was trying to step on it, which really pissed me off. And then she picked it up, and she looked like she was going to smash it. And I told her, I said, do it and I'll fucking stab you, or something like that. I kept saying it over again, I'll fucking stab you. And I just remember being so livid in the dream that I was ready to do that in the dream. And I woke up. I mean, I had this total sense of terror as the dream was going on. You know, I don't know if you guys have these type of dreams where you have a feeling that you're consciously aware of, but the dream is something else entirely. And what I mean by this is, a lot of people, when they're in a dream, they're participants in the dream, and they're not aware of external stimuli, so to speak, like these additional feelings. But I tend to be. I'm very sensitive when I dream. And when I woke up, I guess there was a combination of fears. You know, the fear from the dream, the fear that my anger had gotten that bad, the fear from an incident that a friend had told me. And I'm not sure if it's true or not, but he swears to this day it happened. that when him and his brother, he's had rage issues too, and him and his brother hated each other for a time there, and he remembered that he had literally slept walk, and I guess he was having this violent dream about his brother, and when he woke up he had either a knife or a fork in his hand and was standing over his brother's bed like he was going to do something. So all this culminated, but you know how it is. You kind of let it wear off. Of course, I still think about it in the morning, but the fact that I didn't think to do a video like this because of that dream, which is apparently what was the primary stimulus. I've mentioned a bunch of secondary stimuli. The primary stimulus for doing the other video I did on rage. And so this video is more for me just to say these things, get them out there, and hopefully embed a deeper cognition of the issues I am giving rise to by getting back in those rage-filled habits, by not thinking before I act, or not thinking before I say something, before I lash out. As many of you know who watch my videos, I'm very good at lashing out and very good at venting, if you will, and just popping off there. And one of my issues that's going to bite me in the ass, and me and my family's talked about this, it's going to bite me in my ass in real life, is the fact that I literally do not, and I think it's a bit of an admirable quality, and I'll explain that in a minute, but I literally do not yield to anyone. So, if you're in an authority position, I'm not afraid to tell you off. I'm not afraid to tell you where to go and how to get there. And I think that's meritable to the extent that we've gotten in such an ass-kissing society, that you pretty much bend over and take it just to solve the ego of the boss or that authority figure. And I don't do that. If you're wrong, I'll tell you you're wrong, or at least I think you're wrong. And it doesn't mean I'm right. And I'm always aware of this. It does not mean I'm right. But I will tell you what I feel, how I feel, and I will be brutally direct on it. And I will not generally facilitate this for anyone. There are times, obviously, in more professional settings, when I was going to EWC, and when you go and talk to the people who are responsible for your career, and that, like Evoke Rehab, and that you want to filter, but I only do so superficially. I put on a light mask, if you will. It's a transparent mask. You can still see through it, but it kind of blunts a little bit of the more direct mannerisms through which I communicate. Not mannerisms, but speech and communication methods I have. And going and seeing that video and being so thoughtful about it and just being so full of realization on what an issue this was, it gave me food for thought. And I hope it gives you guys food for thought, because I don't think anything's changed since that video for me or for anyone else. I think we still live in a self-serving world where people tend to capitalize even if it means hurting someone else. But by the same token, I addressed this in the Paul Logan video, I believe that there's this faux politically correct sensitivity that is contributing nothing but shit to the circumstance. It's like we put on a mask, but the beast still rests beneath, and the only thing that matters is if you get caught. It's not that you're really changing your behavior, but the change of your appearance. But you're learning to moderate it in a way that you don't get caught. And that's why the Paul Logan thing pissed me off. That's why the extent to which this new political correct bullshit is is something totally different than we had even in the 90s. This is basically a millennial mindset. And I don't mean to call out a specific generation, but it really does seem that it is a millennial and younger mindset that is provocating this idea that you facilitate your behavior to get what you want, and you put on an appearance, but you don't change anything underneath that. And so I guess all of this stuff I want anybody watching this video to really think about and reflect on. And I know I'll be thinking about and reflecting on it. And until the next video, I'll see you guys later. This is Big Bastard signing out.